Mr. Ragnar, welcome to CGTN. It's a pleasure to see you.
Well, thank you very much.
Being a diplomat here in China certainly has granted you access to areas and regions that maybe other writers and translators didn't have access to, has granted you opportunities to talk to officials and people. How has that enriched your understanding of China as this enormous, sophisticated, and diverse nation?
Well, it's a big question. Actually, I feel I learned most from simply talking to the taxi drivers or the common people.
They're for sure very chatty. They give a lot of information.
No, usually if you ask them directly and the first answer is, I don't bother about politics. So that's Confucianism. That already tells me that he's a Confucianist in his thought, because the common people or the people, they don't concern themselves with issues that are not on their agenda, or they don't have this position.
You mentioned how over time you came to understand how Confucianism has had an impact on the Chinese people, on the ordinary people, why they would quote what would seem to you obscure sayings from ancient China. Would you say Confucianism has also had an impact on you now that you've studied it, you've translated it?
There's no question about that. I've been thoroughly influenced by Confucianism. It's an extra dimension. I'm still Icelandic. I grew up in an Icelandic culture. My mother was the daughter of a priest. My uncle was a priest. My grandfather taught me that God is the goodness in you. So this is me also. But also I have been thoroughly influenced by the Chinese thinking and the Confucianism. So I see the world kind of in a filter it. I see both sides. That actually is a basic Confucian principle, 和为贵, to see everything in harmonious way or on cooperative from different views. You see different views at the same time, and then you can cooperate if you understand the difference between the different ideas.
Let me have you put on that diplomat's hat again for me just for the moment. I think 君子和而不同 came up in a lot of your previous interviews. Do you think that might also apply to country relations, where we strive all to be that 君子, where he would graciously accept differences, agree to disagree, put aside differences, and look for that common ground for collaboration and cooperation? Is that a principle that applies to modern day diplomacy, would you say?
You put it very nicely. I realized quite early that Chinese diplomacy is very much based on this concept. I've been in many meetings where you're working on a text or a statement from the meeting, and then people are so busy with trying to find the exact meaning, and they got brackets until they find a word that everybody agrees to. Problem is the Western civilizations, they try to say that, and this concept only means this and nothing else. The Chinese are fine with having different interpretations of what that particular word in the text means. And they're still fine with being able to work with that.
As a diplomat, you contributed to geothermal energy cooperation between China and Iceland. Can you share your thoughts and your insights on China's efforts and China's progress in its green transition, in sustainable development?
Every politician that comes to Iceland, Chinese or American or even a British one or whatever, he gets to hear about Icelandic geothermal energy and how we are able to do this in a sustainable manner and to heat our houses. They get to visit a geothermal plant, and we explain this to them. Everywhere you can do this, in Germany or in China or wherever, we are here to help you if you want to do this. And we have a geothermal training university course on geothermal utilization in Iceland, run by the Icelandic University and the Icelandic energy authorities. I think over 100 Chinese students have studied there. So when China decided in early this century, I think it was 2006, that they would start using geothermal energy for heating, then naturally they came to Iceland and asked for a cooperation, and a cooperative company between Iceland and China was established. And I think it's a showcase of how a big country like China cooperates with a small country like Iceland. In the recent years, China has defined green development as a main target As a matter of fact, it's a new productive force to develop green technologies, green energy.
Do you believe that there might be ancient Chinese philosophies behind China's very ambitious drive when it comes to green development? Things like 天人合一, man and nature as one. Do you think that might also be driven by Chinese philosophy?
Yes, I think so, because I've been wondering a lot. I mean, Confucius, he was a scholar during the spring and autumn period of China. Now that's only 2,500 years ago. Why did he come up with this ideology? Did he invent it? And I've come to the conclusion relatively recently by studying, why. I'm asking why. Why did this come, these ideas? It's not only him, it's also other philosophers during the same era. They came to the idea of cooperative development, of working together. 君子和而不同 actually means more like the leader, he coordinates, while the general public, they work on specific issues. Now, why did that originate in China? And I think it's because China is a rice-growing culture. So if you're growing rice, I don't know if you've done that, I don't have done that, but I've seen people doing it. It's not something a small family does. It's not a family business. It's not even a small village. It's rather a bigger group of people that come together and they use the land around the big rivers, and you flood your land at a certain time, and then you plant the rice, and then you do certain things at certain times. And I think that is the origins of the Chinese 和合文明, or the Chinese cooperative and commercial culture. Now, in order to do this, you have to coordinate. There's somebody they have to trust. He will say, okay, we'll start planting tomorrow. And this is a very intelligent person who knows about nature, and he looks to the seasons and say, okay, this is the right time of the year. Now we do this, and everybody does this. And you cannot say, hey, my daughter is coming tomorrow, I can't do it. No, everybody goes it together. He can trust that. And the people can trust that his decision is the right one. So I think the most important two concepts in Chinese ethics is the word 和, to working together, and the other one is trust. Working together and coordinating does not only mean a group of people that are working in a certain spot. It increases commerce. So, and that's very early. So I've been wondering, you look at the world today, why the Western world is so basically shocked by China's speed of development, how fast it's moving. How can China go global so after such a short time? Why is China so good at sourcing and the production chain? Like you're doing something, you can find a way to do it, and then you actually go to neighboring countries and you say, you do this part and I do this part. And why? Why is China so fast? It's because China has done that for at least 4,000 or 5,000 years. Because in a rice culture, you have a certain group of people who are working on the rice culture. They need instruments, tools. They need to go to the mountains where people cannot grow rice. They buy tea from the mountains and they give them food instead. So this is commercial origins of Chinese civilization. And it's also based in the same Confucian culture. Chinese Confucian culture comes way back from ancient China, and that it is directly linked to China's commercial success. It's because of those concepts of sin, of trust, and being able to work together even if we are not the same.
Being humble is a big part of the Chinese culture, and I think you're very well versed in that part of the Chinese culture. Mr. Ragnar, we appreciate your wisdom, your candor, and your great sense of humor. Thank you so much for being with us today, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.